Hey guys, what's up? It's Daniel here again, and today I'm going to be doing the SAM's 2010 course Project 2 in Microsoft Word. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be making this letter, and we got a couple of nitpicky little details in today. We got some citations and some editing citations, and we also have this header we have to work on and some interesting formatting, so I'm gonna try to go into pretty good detail for you guys. First of all, here is my grade for the one I did, so you know I got 100 out of 100. I already submitted this. Um, I already submitted this project, so like my last video, I'm not going to be able to open it up for you in SAMS again, but just to show you how to open up a project, they're all the same in the first two steps. So you're going to go to SAMS and you're going to click on your project, and you're going to get this little page, and it's going to pop up, and you're going to click OK. And it's going to take you to another page, and you're going to have your downloads. Normally you're going to have a download file up here, which is your instructions, and maybe a couple, two or three down here, which is the files you're going to use for your project. But you're going to download them all, and you're going to click on the one that has your name in it. That's the project that you're going to be working on, and it's going to download either down here on your start bar if you have Windows 7, or it could be up top here if you have an earlier edition of Windows. And I'm going to click open, and this is not again what you guys are going to see. It's going to be Microsoft Word, but the saving is the same thing. So on the top left you go to File, you go to Save As, and you're going to get this little page that pops up. And what Sam wants you to do is at the end of this title you want to click behind it so it doesn't highlight it, and then you're going to erase whatever numbers are after this last underscore after your name, and then you're going to put a 2, and that is what Sam recognizes your file with. And when you go back to submit it to get your grade, it's important that that is named exactly like that. So if it's not, then the SAM system won't accept it and you'll get an error message. So you do that, you can select where you want to save all your files for your project. You could make your own file, or you could put it on your desktop if you want, wherever you're comfortable with. And then you press save. Since I'm already done this, I'm not going to save this project right now. But when you open it up, you're going to have a blank page like this, and at the bottom it should have your name right here, and it like this, and on the task list, as I call it, it says, you know, verify that your name shows on the bottom of the paper. That's what that is. This file is exclusively made for Daniel Michael. Your name should be right there, the numbers. You don't have to worry about either of these at all. Just don't even touch them, because if you do, you can screw them up, and then your project might not work with SAM at all, and you'll have to redo the whole thing. So just don't even touch it. Alright, so on to after you've saved your project with the right name and you've made sure that your name is on the bottom of that page, we're going to start off with number 2, and it says modify the normal style to 12-point times New Roman font. Okay, so up here we have your styles, alright, and right now you're already on the normal style, but what Sam's asking you to do is modify it. So we're going to right click on this, and we're going to go to modify right here, and it's going to bring up this page, and right here we're going to make it 12 point, because that's what it asks for. So you click the drop down arrow and you go to 12, and then on the where it says Calabria, you're going to click down and go to Times New Roman, which in alphabetical order is going to be all the way down towards the bottom right there, and then you click that. Now that changes the first part. and it says, hint, remember that just changing the font in the document will not modify the normal style. So what that means is that if I didn't do that at all, I couldn't just go up to here and switch the font to 12 and the font style to Times New Roman. That wouldn't work, and the task would be marked as wrong. So you have to right click and go to modify like I showed you. The next thing it shows us to do is adjust line spacing to double. Alright, and right here in this middle section in the paragraph section, there's a couple lines with the up and down blue arrow. You're going to click on that, and right now you can see that your line spacing is at 1.15. That's the default that Microsoft Word puts it at. You're going to want double spacing, so we're going to click 2. And now your whole page is going to have Times New Roman 12-point font, and it's going to be double spaced, which is what the assignment says. So number 3 says remove space below after paragraphs. When your research paper is complete, the entire paper should have 0-point spacing below after paragraphs. So right now, to do this, we have to go to this paragraph right here, and in the very bottom corner of that section there's a little tiny arrow, and you're going to click on that. So it wants us to change the space below after paragraph. So this is the after right here, and we want 0 point. So it's at 10 right now. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to click on it. You can use the arrows and change the number if you want, but I'm just going to click on it and erase what was there. And then I'm going to put 0, and then I'm going to press enter or hit OK, and that is going to make it so that my whole paper is going to have the 0-point spacing below the afters paragraph. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to create a right aligned header that includes the name Kimball followed by a space. Okay, so for this we're going to go to insert, and in header I'm going to click edit header, and then up here on the top right I have my position, and I'm gonna click insert alignment, and that's gonna bring up this, and I can move it either to the left, the center, or the right, and what I want is to the right, so I'm gonna click the right. I'm gonna click OK, and then I'm going to type the name Kimball. And again, I'm not going to really focus on spelling right now because this is just my example, so I'm not going to try to get everything 100%. But you guys should definitely go word for what the example says that you have, because if you don't, you can really mess things up. Okay, so after I insert Kimball, it says followed by a space, so I'm going to put a space after that. And then the page number. So again, I'm going to go, actually I can just from this header design in the left, there is a page number, and it says hint, use the current position command on the insert page number menu to add a plain number page number from the current position gallery. Okay, so when I click this number, page number, what it wants me to do is hit the current position. And when I do that, it's going to come up with these different numbers, and since it asked me to put a plain number, I'm just going to hit plain number, and right after that you see that it puts a 1 after Kimball for page 1. Alright, the next step is to start with the name. So to get out of your header settings, you're just going to double click underneath this line, just like that, and it's going to turn slightly gray. That means you did it right. Okay, and it's going to, when you double click underneath it, it's going to immediately go to the first line. So it says begin the research paper by typing the name Harley Kimball. Alright. Alright, so that was easy enough. The instructor, Miss Longhurst, what I did there was after I typed her name, I pressed enter, and then I go on to the next name, which it asks for. And then you type the course information, you press enter again. English. Whoa. Looks like I don't know how to do English. English 101. Press enter one more time, and then April, comma, oh, no comma, April 30th, comma, 2012. Alright, and notice that this red line came up under Longhurst. That's because Microsoft doesn't recognize that name as a correctly spelled name, but I double checked on the paper and it is how it is spelled, so just ignore that, but make sure you have the right spelling. It's not going to come up, or it will come up as incorrectly spelled, and if you want you can go into settings and change that. But you don't really need to do that unless that's a name that you use frequently. So just don't worry about that. And I'm going to just double check myself here to see if I'm doing everything right. So far, if you look at your examples, it looks like I have everything they have up to this point, which is good. So the next thing it asked me to do is the title, and it says from one controller to another. Alright, and for time saving purposes, I'm just going to cut, copy, and paste because I can, but you should not do this because Sam has some kind of security breach, something or another, that lets it know when you cut, copy, and paste, and it marks the question off as wrong if you do it. So you do have to go in and type everything out word by word, which is tedious and annoying, yes, but it is what it is. So don't cut, copy, and paste stuff in. So anyway, after it you type in your title, you're going to want to center it. So what I did was I highlighted it by clicking behind another and holding my click and then dragging it to the beginning of from. That'll highlight it. And then up here under the paragraph section, there's a button that says center, and I'm going to click that, and that's going to put it right in the middle of, or center of, the page. Alright, number 6. At the beginning of a new left-aligned line, set the first line indent marker to the 0.5 mark. Okay, so now that I have centered that, I'm going to unhighlight it just by clicking behind it. I'm going to press enter. It says do a left aligned paragraph. So up here I'm going to move this button back to the left aligned. You can see that it says align text left. I'm going to click that again. That's not going to affect any of what I've already done. So I got for the 0.5 indent marker, I'm going to click this little down arrow again on the very corner of the paragraph section, and if you look, there's a section that says indentation, and it wants me to set a first line indent marker to 0.05. So under this special category where it says none at the moment, I'm going to click the right arrow and it's going to drop down and it's going to say first line and hanging. You're going to click first line because that's what it's asking. And when you do that, it automatically puts 0.5, which is what it wants us to do. But if it doesn't do that, it's the same principle of using the arrows, or you can type it in if it doesn't do it. But make sure that it puts 0.5 in by the first line. When your research paper is complete, the body paragraphs of the research paper should all have first line indents of 0.5. Okay, so now I'm going to click OK, and now you'll notice that my cursor, the little blinking black line, went from being over here to where the beginning of the names and everything start to a 0.5 inch indent, which is good. And it's going to be like that on every first line of my paragraphs. Number 7, type the first body paragraph of your research paper by entering the text shown in figure 2. Alright, so I just cut and pasted in the first paragraph, but again, don't do that. You have to type it out. Make sure you use the correct capitals in the right spots, and what you can do is you can match your typing to what the example looks like. So like, for instance, I see like the end of the second paragraph ends with R, and the beginning of the third paragraph ends with gamepad. So I can look at my example and see that R is the end and gamepad is the end, and that's good. That means I did it right. But say for instance I misspelled something or put too many spaces, and controller was the end of the second paragraph and R was the beginning of the third paragraph, I could look back at this and see that that's wrong, and at that point I would have to look back and review to see where I made my mistake. So make sure you do that correctly. Okay, so as of right now, I looked at my example and everything looks as it should, and yours should look similar to this also, or not similar, just like it. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna change the bibliography style to MLA 6th edition. Okay, so for this, up on the top I'm gonna go to references, and under the citation and bibliography there's a little drop down menu next to styles, and I think that the default is already MLA 6th edition, but if it's not and it's one of these, you're going to click this one, and that will change the bibliography style to 6th edition. And then it says, at the end of the second sentence in the first body paragraph, after the phrase motion sensing controllers, so that is right here, and before the period, so before the period also, type a space, so there's a space, and then insert a citation to Joyce bibliography, or whatever it is, bibliographic, I don't know, I give up. Insert a citation to Joyce, source shown in figure 3. Now, I don't have figure 3 because I already did this, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to insert it. So on the middle it says insert citation, and you're going to click add a new source after you click that little arrow, and then I get this separate window. Now I'm going to move back over to the paper that's already done so I can show you the correct way to source it, but for right now I'm just going to cancel out of this one. And so under this is how the first the first citation should look. It should be under website, and the author should be Joyce, comma, so and so, capital D, period. Alright, you should make sure that that is just spelled just like that. Same thing with What Gamers Want. Make sure the first letter of each word is capitalized. 2012, February 2010. Okay, excuse me. And then once you've filled all this out, you just click OK. Alright, and notice after you do that, this citation is going to pop up in between the period and controllers with a space in between controllers and the brackets. So I'm gonna move back over to what I was doing, and I'm just going to click web address. And again, when you do this, there's a drop down menu and there's a whole bunch of them you can pick from. Make sure you pick web address, or website is what it is. And then I'm just going to put Joyce. And I'm going to pretend that all of that is filled in. So now mine should look just like yours, but yours should have more information, just like the one I showed you before. So once you've done that, it asks you to type the second body paragraph of the research paper by entering the text shown. So once I've done the Joyce citation, I'm going to go to the end of this paragraph, and I'm going to click enter, and it's going to go indented right where it's supposed to be, and then I'm going to type the second body of the paragraph. And again, I can't stress to you how important it is that you type it just as the example is, because if you don't and you get one step wrong, the SAM system will count that one step and a different step also, so it'll be like you get two questions wrong when you only got one wrong, really. So you really want to be careful. So once I have the second body paragraph typed, at the end of the third sentence in the second body paragraph, after the phrase during gameplay, so that is right here, and before the period, type a space, and then insert the citation to the Cortez bibliography shown in figure 5. Alright, so now all I have to do is go back up to insert citation, and then I'm going to go to add a new source again, and then I'm going to select what that image in your in figure 5 looks like, and I'll show you what it looks like in this other one right now. So Cortez is going to look like this. Alright, it's going to be an article in the periodical, and it's going to have some tricky period, commas, and you want to make sure you type all that. Again, when you select this, there's a drop down menu, there's a whole bunch of them in a scrolly bar that you can pick from, so make sure you pick the right one. And then today's gamer, type the date, and then just do exactly what the image shows, and then later on we'll get to how to edit it. Alright, so once you have that, you're going to press OK, and Cortez is going to pop up right here. However, you're going to see right now that it's not going to have this 20 to 24. So really yours is going to look like this. Or something close to that. I don't know if I spelled Cortez right. Anyway, that's what yours should look like. Yeah, Cortez at the moment, and you should have all the information logged in just like that image showed in figure 5. And then the next step, it says edit the Cortez citation in the second body paragraph to display pages 20 to 24 at the end of the citation. And it says do not insert a place before or after the hyphen in the page number reference. So to do this, I'm going to click on Cortez, and what comes up is a field. When I hover over this, it's going to turn gray. That gray is called a field, and when I click underneath it, it's going to come up with this little drop down menu, okay? And so to edit the page numbers, instead of editing the source, I just have to edit the citation, okay? And when I click that, it's going to come up with this pages bar. And what I want to do is I want to say 20 to 24. So I typed in a 20, a dash, and a 24. Okay, and that's what step 11 asked me. Then I'm going to press OK. And now your citation is going to look like this, which is what the other one looked like that I showed you before. Okay. Number 12, type the third body paragraph of your research paper by entering the text shown in figure 6. Alright, so we're going to go to figure 6 and we're going to look at the third body of the text, and it looks as if it's pretty long. So type it just as you see it, and I'm going to cheat and paste it in here. And once you've finished typing it, it should look like this. And again, you can double check with how the picture looks compared to how yours looks. Make sure that the words on the lines and the paragraphs end at with the same words that are the ones in the image. And then it asks, at the end of the last sentence in the third body paragraph, after the phrase "we game console," so that's right here, and before the period, so inside the period, type a space, and then insert a citation to Bloom, bibliographical something. I still can't pronounce that word for some reason. It's late at night probably. Source shown in figure 7. So you're going to look at figure 7. It should be an image, and it's going to have something that looks like this. So it's a book. You're going to type Bloom, June, The Gaming Experience, 2012, New York, Buffalo Works Press, all that. I'm just going to type Bloom in on mine. So again, I go to edit new source, and it's a book, and Bloom, and then I'm just going to say OK. So I pretend that I put in everything else when I really didn't. However, you should. So edit the Bloom citation in the third paragraph to display pages 56 to 59 at the end of the citation. Do not insert a space before or after the hyphen and the page number reference. So again, we're going to go to the field. See the gray field? It could be blue on yours, but mine's gray. So I'm going to click on it, and a little arrow comes down. I'm going to click that, and I'm going to go to Edit Citation. Pages are going to come up again, and I'm going to select 56 to 59. Then I hit OK, and now yours should look just like that. Text message. Okay. Finally, we're going to press enter one more time, and we're going to start a new page from the looks of it. And notice when I start a new page that the Kimball page 2 is going to automatically pop up. That should happen. Again, it should be just the slightest bit gray. That means that it's just automatically doing it, which it's supposed to do. And it says type the fourth body of the paragraph of the research paper by entering the text shown in figure 9. Alright, so figure 9 is going to look like this. And once you have typed it in, it should look like that. Make sure you type everything in just as it says in the example. And then it says after the fourth body paragraph, press the enter key and insert a manual page break to begin a new page. So once I type what will be next, question mark, I'm going to hit enter, and then it wants me to insert a manual page break. So I'm going to go insert on the top, and then it says page break, and I just click that once, just that page break button, and it's going to take me to the third page, and again Kimball 3 is going to pop up for the third page. And then this is going to be the tricky part, so watch closely. Okay, enter the text works cited and center that text. So I'm going to type works cited just as it says in the instructions, and it wants me to center it, so I'm going to highlight it. I'm going to go to home, and I'm going to go to the center button again that we've used a couple times now. Good. So now that I've centered the works cited, it says rather than typing the sources, use the insert bibliography command in the bibliography gallery to insert the list of sources. Okay, so I'm going to go back to references, and I'm going to go to this button here that says bibliography. It's right underneath where we were switching the MLA style to the 6th edition. I'm going to click the drop down arrow. Okay, and there's two options that pop up. You don't want either of those. You just want this little button down here that says insert bibliography. Okay, now you're going to click that, and it's going to come up in this funky format. Okay, and it says use the insert bibliography command in the gallery to insert lists of sources, and then it says convert the bibliography field to regular text. Hint, use Control-Shift plus F9. Alright, so right now this is a field. Remember how I talked about the gray stuff? That means that you're in a field. And basically what I did just to show that was I just clicked on it anywhere. When you click away from it, it disappears. When you click on it, it shows it's a field, okay? And what we want is when a field pops up, that means that this whole thing is going to stay the same way it is unless I do something about it, okay? And we do want to edit it. So right now, I'm going to highlight everything just by clicking at the very last line and then going to the beginning. And then it says use Control-Shift F9. So on the keyboard, I'm going to hit Control. I'm going to keep holding it. I'm going to hit Shift, and then on the top, I'm going to hit F9. All at the same time, and you see that quickly that the gray just went away and it's blue. Now it's no longer a field, it's just like plain text, okay, which is exactly what we wanted. And the next step says change the line spacing for the bibliography source to double. Alright, so once you have switched it so there's no field left, you can edit all of this. You can click on it without having the gray pop up, and make sure that that is done. Remember, it's Control, Shift, and F9. You can do them. You have to press them all at once. Okay, you can do one at a time and hold them, but you have to do them all three at the same time, if you get what I'm saying. And then it wants us to put a double space for the format. So I'm going to highlight everything again, and I'm going to go to the Home tab, and I'm going to use this this little line spacing button again that we used earlier with the two blue arrows going up and down. And I'm going to bring it down to 2.0 for double. Alright, so now the lines are a little more spaced out. And it says change the format of the source title from underline to italics. Okay, so what it's talking about is these three titles right here. Alright, so I'm going to highlight the word that's underlined, and up top I'm going to click the U for the underline, and what that's going to do, since it's already underlined, it's going to get rid of the underline. You see how when I clicked it, it got rid of the underline? And what it wants me to do is italicize the name. So right directly next to the U, there's an I, and that stands for italicize. And since I've already highlighted what I want to italicize, I'm just going to click it. And you see how it shifted a little bit? That means that it's italicized. So I'm going to do the same thing with this one. I'm going to highlight it, going to click the U, that gets rid of the underline. I'm going to click the I, that italicizes it, and again, down here, I'm going to click the U, I'm going to click the I, and that is how it wants it. And it says, to update the MLA 6th edition style to match the latest guidelines for MLA 6th edition documentation, enter the media type print at the end of Bloom and Cortez sources. Alright, so here's Bloom. What it's telling me to do is enter print at the very end. So I'm going to go just next to the period on the 2012. I'm going to put a space, and I'm going to type print, just like that, with a space and a capital P, and then I got to put another period after that. And then I'm going to do the same thing to the Cortez. So right here, I'm going to type a space, I'm going to type a capital P, and then I'm going to type rent, giving me a total of print, and then I'm going to type a period. And then it says, enter the media type web to the Joyce source before 28 March date, again to match the new MLA documentation style. So before the 28 March, I'm going to go to the period right after 2012. I'm going to hit a space, I'm going to type a W, a capital W, and then I'm going to type EB for web, and then I'm going to hit period again, which gives me a space, one space right after that period to the 28th of March. And then it says your bibliography should look like figure 10. So when your figure, when you look on your list and you see your figure, it should look exactly like that. And notice how this line's indented. That's the proper way that the MLA 6th edition has it. It did it automatically. You saw that I didn't have to do that. However, the first time I submitted this, it didn't do that, and when I submitted it, it still didn't count it as wrong. So if January is over here, all even with Cortex and Bloom and Joyce, don't freak out. It didn't mark it as wrong for me. I don't know if it would do the same thing to you, but if it does, talk to your teacher and let he or she know that you understand that it's there, or get help with it if you can. But I don't think it would mark it wrong. Okay, I think that does it for Project 2. Again, once you've finished your project, you can go up to the Review tab and hit Spelling and Grammar. And again, this page is going to pop up and it's going to tell me that that name is spelled wrong. I know that, but it's spelled right according to the directions, so I'm going to ignore all. And then the spelling and grammar is complete. That means that nothing else was misspelled. Make sure that your paragraphs match the paragraphs on your examples exactly. Alright, you have the header with 1, 2, and 3. You have your works cited. Don't type work cited. It's not, it has an S on the end of it, so make sure you do that. And again, make sure your name and this crazy number is on the bottom. Okay guys, well, I hope this helped, and be sure to subscribe and like my videos, and I'll be sure to get out more of the SAMS course 2010 projects for you, so I can help you guys out as much as I can. and I will see you guys next time.